I am so honored to be having this opportunity to interview LeAnn Fasi, single mom of 4 boys, ages 17 to 36. She's a registered behavioral technician specializing in working with individuals on the autism spectrum. She's from Hilo, the Big Island, works for Hawaii Behavioral Health. And I was just blown away when you said you were also, in addition to all of that, a caregiver for your dad for 5 years until he was nearly 96 years old. I mean, that
Yes.
you have
Yes.
a full plate.
Yes.
So the question that I have for you is, what tips do you think you have? What tips can you advise a lot of these parents with IEPs who don't know whether the services will be offered? I mean, any advice where we can help this panic that parents are experiencing?
Well, being that I have an autistic son. My son is 17 years old, right? He's on the spectrum. He has a pretty extensive IEP. At school he has 2-on-1. He's in a self-contained well, I would say partially self-contained, but for the most part, he has his own room, that he can go to when he gets overwhelmed. And so for me, this has been really challenging. These past few months have been a really, really challenging time for everyone, not just myself, but especially for people who have kids on the spectrum or, disabilities. But also, I also, the techniques I use with Luke, with my son, that's 18, also comes in really handy with my other children too, even though they're already adults. I try to apply the same type of techniques with them, because I think no matter what, what your child's ability is, we still all face the same challenges. They still go through the same challenges and the same emotions. But as of right now, the past few months, it was totally unknown. Like, he was out of school from March. He did get to go to school for just a few weeks in the summertime, for like his ESY, which was 4 hours a day. But other than that, I tried my best to keep him busy. And even though as parents, we think, sometimes we just think our kids will be able to entertain themselves, or we just rely too much on the computer or the computer games and things like that. And for me, that's just not an option, because if you keep your child in front of the computer so long, or the TV, you're going to start to see behaviors, and they're going to start to, act up. And a lot of times we as adults, we just think they should know better.
Right.
They should know better, deal with it however they need to deal with it. But no, as parents, we need to step up. And so during this time when everybody's panicking and thinking, what am I going to do with my kid right now? And the good thing is, many of the parents were also home with their kids. And I say a good thing, because I heard a lot of people complaining, in the beginning, going, oh my gosh, my kids are driving me crazy. What am I going to do? I never felt that way. I never felt that way at all. And I think the reason being is because I really try to engage in my child. I don't expect him, and not just because he's on the spectrum either, and all my children, even when they were younger, I always kept them engaged and found things to do. And I didn't rely on them to figure it out. I came up with creative things to do for them to keep busy. And as parents, we need to invest that time. We need to invest time in our kids, whether it was for us, during this time, it's really difficult because a lot of places are closed. All the things that our kids enjoy doing, we couldn't do, including my son, Fun Factory, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He used to enjoy doing that. But this gave us the opportunity to get outdoors, and really explore. And so I would advise for parents, you know, take that time and invest it in your children, and find new ways, new things to do. Don't just rely on the old things that
Mm-hmm.
you're so used to doing. For us, it was fishing. Fishing was allowed.
Oh, yes.
You know, it was allowed all the way through, really, pretty much. We stayed home for the first month in March. And then, you know, I said, okay, we need to go do something outside of the home. So we got really involved in fishing, and we went fishing 3 or 4 times a week. Now,
Wow.
I'm not a fisherwoman. I'm a single mom. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no husband to rely on. You know, Luke's dad lives in Maui. I'm in the Big Island. So it's truly solely up to me. And we just took up fishing, and we just started going. And even with what he gained from that is patience. He learned patience. He learned, you know, to appreciate the outdoors. And
Well,
so
I'm sure
I
the
think
fresh air, right? I'm sure the fresh air helped. And just before we started, just going on a cruise, you know, just driving around the island, don't you think just, even if we can't physically go places like Fun Factory, just being in a car and driving around?
exactly, we did that too. We did that a lot. And we also went on walks around the block, you know. He actually
Mm-hmm.
lost weight in the first month. He lost like 7 pounds. I did too. I lost a
Wow.
few, because all of a sudden now we're going on walks because we didn't have, you know, and all that exercise and just kind of wearing off some of that energy that gets pent up sitting in the house, you know. It's good to be outdoors and take your kids and do things, even though you're not an outdoor person. Go and do it, and you find that you're going to really truly enjoy that, you know. Once you start doing it, it becomes fun.
Well, I think it's a great way, yeah, because I'm not an outdoor person too, but just going on a walk just really de-stresses you. You know, you just focus on just breathing and looking out in nature, and it's just amazing.
Right.
I think a lot of us are so, right, you're just cooped up and maybe dealing with the unknown that causes a stress. What are the
Yes,
favorite things that Luke likes to do? I mean, do you like at home? You know, I love how you said creative. Do you do things like in the yard or like
we
in,
do. So of course we live in the Big Island, so
yes.
we have wild chickens roaming around. So what does mom do? Well, we had an old dog house, and in the beginning of this pandemic, I said, "Hey, let's paint that old dog house. Let's turn it into a chicken coop." So we
Wow.
turned it into a chicken coop. Went out and bought, you know, lots of chicken feed and things, and so again, we spent things that we weren't doing prior. You know, we found things to do, and now we've got a whole yard full of chickens.
Wow.
And then
That's
when it came to
creative.
food, so you know, not everybody has chickens, but also the other thing was I was on a quest to find a basketball hoop because I know that,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
prior to this, like, we never had time to play basketball. I was working, he was going to school, and in the beginning of pandemic, I couldn't find any, but luckily, you know, we had to wait a few months, but I finally got a basketball hoop. But I get out there and I play with them. And again, you know, personally, sometimes I have 1,000 different things that I need to do.
Yes.
But when he asks me, even if I'm in the middle of something, I might tell him, well, hey, you know what? Let me finish this up and I'll go play with you.
Hmm.
And a lot of times we make excuses why we can't. We don't have time. We don't have time for our kids. I have to do this. I have to do that. And you know what? If we just stop and we make that time, everything else will fall into place. You will realize that, wow, I really did have extra time to, you know, to spend with
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
child. Um, and I still got, you know, was able to finish up whatever work that I had to do. So sometimes we just need to prioritize and put our family first. and our
I love
kids
that.
first.
Yeah, because I think I got caught up into it too. And it's like, wait, can you hold on? Can you hold on? And then sometimes we forget, right? It's like, wait, mom, you just
Yeah.
said hold on for how long? You said an hour. It's been 2 hours, and you realize you do have to stop because our kids, I think once they know and feel important, don't you think?
Yeah.
Once they
Yes.
feel important, it does fall into place.
And here's the key, Karen, and this is what I stick with, and I never sway on this, is if I tell my son, yes, we can do that, you know, give me an hour or give me 20 minutes. Or even if he earns something, let's say, you know, if in the morning I drop him off at school and I say, hey, you know, you have a really good day today at school. And I always work on the reward system with him as well. You have a good day at school, because he might say, can we go fishing today? So, well, you know what? If you have a good day at school, yes, I'll take you fishing today. If those words come out of my mouth, and if I say, yes, I will, no matter how tired I am,
Yes.
no matter how many other things I have to do, I always keep my word. And sometimes I might be so tired, and it could be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's going to say, but Mom,
You
you said we
said,
can go fishing today. And you know what? I always say, you're right, son. Let's go. And I push myself.
yeah,
No matter, I always keep my word. I never go back, because I don't want to give him false promises. I want him to
exactly.
be able to trust me and know that what I say is the truth. Because once you start, you know, once kids, you start going back on what you say, kids are you know, they're gonna lose that trust.
Well, and
They're
once
not
you
gonna.
lose faith, right, right. And I think it teaches them accountability, that since mom's going to be accountable, then I have to
Yes,
be accountable. Like I noticed you said just
absolutely.
20 minutes, and then he respects your time because you
Yes,
taught him, right, that you will
yes,
respect time with
yes,
him.
yes. And
I love
so,
that.
how do you do it? I'm like, you just do it. You know,
Exactly.
you just do it. You don't make excuses. You just do it. And
And it can be
so,
simplified. Like you said, I think you're right. A lot of us make it, excuses, or we put our priorities first, and we
right.
don't realize, I mean, we all know kids grow up literally really, really fast, right? I was just shocked when you said, I mean, ages 17 through 36. When you look back, I mean, 36 years, right?
Yeah. I've been
And
doing
you
this for
just,
36 years.
yeah, that just shocks me. And I'm sure parenting back then, don't you think it just evolves and changes, and we learn from each,
And with each child, you know, you learn a little bit more with each child. So now I can pretty much say, you know, I'm pretty good at what I do, because I've had 36 years of mistakes also that I've made, you know. And so now I've, you know, got it down to a science, and also with my background too, because I do work with behaviorally challenged kids, behaviorally challenged teens. And
I was going to
so,
say that and I love how you said that it applies to, it doesn't, they don't have to be on the spectrum. It
yeah,
applies to everybody, right?
it
I
does.
mean, you depend, especially if, you have a teen or an adult child who is hungry or tired or stressed, you apply those behavior modification skills, and you,
Yes, I do. Yes, I have a son who's going into his senior year at ASU, and believe me, it's like I still have to, when I speak to him, even though he's an adult, sometimes it kind of, they go back to their old habits too as kids. Sometimes they'll try to, you know, learn to manipulate, or, you know, they try to
right.
pull their
Well, because you're a mom, no
chain.
matter how old they are, you're a mom.
Exactly. Exactly. But you know, I've gotten really good at being able to be flexible, and that's the thing. You can't only be like one way, it's my way or no way. It doesn't work. I don't care if you're the parent and he's the child. You really need to open your ears and listen to what they're
Oh my
saying.
gosh. And that's what I mean, parent coaches, grandmas, whoever I talk to, that's the thing that, the old way, I think, was it's my way or the highway, and you didn't really
Yeah,
listen because you just
Yeah.
thought, I'm the parent, you're the child. But now
Yeah.
we're learning that if you
Yeah.
don't listen, I asked my 18-year-old, what do you need? And she said, not advice, I just need to be heard and understood.
Yes.
And it was such a light bulb moment, because I thought I needed to give her, you know, like inspirational advice and these life lessons, but if they don't feel
Yeah.
heard,
No.
none of it
Because they want
matters.
to be able to make they really truly want to be able to make decisions for themselves. They just sometimes want you to just listen. What do you think about this idea, Mom? You know, and they don't want to say, well, you know, yeah, you know, that's not such a great idea. You should do it this way. They don't want to hear that. They want you to listen to their idea. Yes, you can give them some advice, but never cut them down, and never, you know, minimalize their own ideas.
Right.
And I think it's just more to support their ideas. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I know that you promised Luke to go on a ride, so I want to make sure that you keep that promise. I know that it was been such a hectic schedule, and I am so thankful that you were able to give us your time and wise, especially since you are in the you know, behavioral health field. I love how you said that the concepts that you've learned can be practiced with whoever is
Yes.
in our lives, right?
Absolutely. Well,
Thank you,
thank
and
you
enjoy that
for
ride.
having me. Yeah. Thank you so much. We will. You
Thank
take
you.
care.
Take care. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.